Hi, my name is Jose Macias. I am here in San Antonio, Texas. I am at home in my own workshop. And when I say workshop, like what does that mean? I work and fix on accordions, right? My accordion journey started as a musician, as somebody with a passion. Somebody who wanted to play, somebody who heard songs on the radio and wanted to be able to perform those as well. And before even mentioning that, my background is Mexican American, right? So Tejano and Conjunto were at the forefront, even Norteño, at my listening experience, right? And the accordion was always very present. I heard a song on the radio, right? I remember asking my dad, hey, what is that? And it turned out to be a polka, right? A Tejano polka by none other than Roberto Pulido y Los Clásicos, who the accordion player is Leonel Pulido. I mean, one of the best within the onda, right? So I remember listening to that and hearing it and wanting to play that. And then asking him, well, what is that instrument? He goes, well, that's an accordion. So it started there. It really did. Another foundational moment in my accordion journey was Selena's No Me Queda Más, right? There was two versions of that song, one with accordion called the sort of ballad, and then one mariachi version that had accordion. And I remember hearing both and being like, the one with accordion sounds much better. I don't know why they even made another version. So that's another thing that really piqued my interest with this instrument. And I remember bugging the hell out of my parents, right? Bugging them and asking them, how do I get an accordion? How do I acquire one? What do I do? They directed me to the phone book. This was in the mid-90s, so no internet, no Google searches, nothing of that nature. So I went through every pawn shop and every music store, and not one would rent an accordion, which is what my father asked me to ask them, see if they'll rent you one, and no. So one day during the summer of 97, my father said, let's go run some errands. And I went with him, and we ended up at Alamo Music Center in downtown San Antonio. And we came across the accordion salesman at the time, salesperson, and none other than Danny Martinez, who was a long-time sales rep there at Alamo. His family, his sons went through there too, so I got to know them as well. Omar and Mark, yeah, they were great, very foundational in my journey, especially Omar, because he used to play drums when we used to go do showcases. So I remember him very well, and I think he even played some guitar and stuff like that. So that was great. But anyway, back to the accordion, my dad says, well, pick one out. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, pick out an accordion. And it was like a brand new one. And it was a Corona. It was a Corona 2, a Hohner Corona 2, red, classic. And I remember first picking the black one, but then for whatever reason, I switched to the red one. And that was my first accordion, right? It's been stolen since, so I don't have it with me anymore, unfortunately. So that's gone. So whoever has it, congratulations, you got a great box. Anyway, so then I started playing. I hooked up with Benny Medina, the famous Benny Medina y su conjunto Águila. He was giving lessons there at Alamo Music. My accordion came with a free lesson, and I remember going, I believe it was a Wednesday, my mother took me, and history began right there with Mr. Benny Medina, and he has stayed a mentor. He's 86 years old now. He's a mentor, right? But he's also like a collaborator. We now work on songs together. He sees me more of as, I don't want to say this, but I think he kind of sees me almost like as an equal now, which is very cool, at least since he began as my mentor and my first teacher on accordion. So throughout that time, I started traveling, right? Started playing with pretty big bands within Tejano. Got to play with some conjuntos in the early part of my career, but Tejano music was really where I left my mark. Started with a band called Texas Latino. Thank you, Severo, for the opportunity, Severo Contreras. And then I moved on to the Texas Tall Boys, right? A local group here in town, Johnny Mora. Thank you very much for that opportunity as well, because that propelled me to another foundational group that I got to perform with for numerous years, and that was Elida Reina from Elida y Avante. At this point, she was starting off a new band, and I was a part of that rebuild. Well, the second accordion player. But either way, it was a part of that rebuild, and that was great. Got to travel, go to Mexico. So fast forward to all of that, I've played with other Tejano bands of reputable status, right? Ram Herrera, David Mares. I was lucky enough to win a Latin Grammy Award in 2018 with Roger Velasquez and the Latin Legends, Tejano Orquesta. So I've done a little bit of everything with different groups. But my journey then took me to actually working and repairing on these things, right? Like right here to my workshop. This is what you call a reed block, right? Before, I knew that the accordion had this, but didn't know where exactly or how they worked or how to adjust, or really didn't know much about it. So then I remember in the summer of 2022, I went to Schertz, Texas to meet up with accordion tuning master, Honer certified accordion technician, none other than Agustin Gus Escobar. And I took my accordion there to get fixed. I think maybe it might have been a reed that needed replaced. So I did that. And I remember watching him work and saying, actually telling him, voicing it, I really wish I could do that. I want to learn how to do that. And his response was, todos me dicen eso. And translated English to Spanish, it means everybody tells me that. So he looked at me with a bit of cynicism, right? Which, given the fact that everybody does say this, every accordion player is like, well, I want to do that. But none really do jump on it. For whatever reason, I did. I told him I'll be here on a Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day it was. But I was there the very next week. And I kept going for 2 years, and sometimes multiple times a week, to study with this gentleman and to learn the art, to practice the art of accordion tuning. And he so graciously gave me his knowledge. If he withheld anything, I never knew it, because he did everything with such grace. And I'm not talking past tense, because he's still working. He's still working in a shop. He too is 86 years old and continues to keep the tradition. We were just there, me and a few other accordion tuners that are learning accordion tuners, ones that are trying to pick up the trade as well. We were there this past week. So I continue to visit with him, continue to study, to learn, and for the greater purpose to bring this to the community, because the people that actually work on these instruments, they're pretty few and far between. In San Antonio, I could probably name off maybe 3 or 4, and there's only really one that dedicates himself to it, and that would be Gus Escobar out there in Schertz. My thing is to expand this and to bring you all along for the journey. You see me now in this room, right? So we'll see what the future holds, and we'll see, maybe I won't be in a room next time, not in this one. Who knows where I'll be? Maybe in a storefront, I don't know. Maybe somewhere else, who knows where? But the future is open, and the future is promising. And I'm glad that you guys are on here. I know I can't see you all face to face, but having you all here, and who you all are, I don't know. And hopefully we can reach out through social media, through the internet somehow, emails, websites, however we can communicate to let you know what's going on here. Something great is happening. The tradition is going. So for those who are wondering who is going to be the next person to tune, and not to say that I'm like the very next guy, but I'm here to keep the tradition moving forward, to be the Gus Escobar to the next generation, in a sense. So not only is it for my thing, right, to establish the business, but also to carry it and to continue it through the community and through the Mexican American culture, the Mexican culture, the Latino culture, right? The Latin American culture, because the accordion is so prevalent in Latin American communities and cultures. So it only makes sense that we have somebody to maintain these instruments, because the musicians are important. What happens when the instrument breaks down? Who do we go to then? Call me, right? So thank you all. Thank you all for your time, and thank you for your presence along on my journey, because this is just the beginning, and it's exciting, and I hope to see you all in the future, whether face to face or somewhere online, something. But can't wait to meet you all, and thank you all for listening.